kindly give his valuable suggestions and also the important information to our member and also other scientists of the India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for such nice words. Happy to see all of you, Dr. D.K. Sharma, Dr. B.R. Sharma, and all the friends. I'm thankful to Dr. Atul and Sanjay Arora for giving me this opportunity to interact with you and talk something about water on this World Population Day. It's really a very proud moment, good moment to interact with you all and this during difficult times, but through this technology, we are able to interact with each other, and that's a very nice occasion. As we talk of the population, and we all know, I need not to repeat all the time, but still, that with 18% population of the world, we have got only some 4% of the water resources. So the population pressure on our water resources is quite high, and with increase in population, our per capita availability of water has declined significantly. In 1951, it was 5,177 cubic meter per capita. It declined to 1,508 by 2014. The expectation is, the fear is that we will be declining to 1465 cubic meter by 2025, and by 1235, by 2035 it will be around 1235. So, as the World Bank authorities say that if we are falling below 1100, the whole country will become the stressed country, stressed situation. And we are already in the stress situation in few of our regions. If we divide the country in 5 parts, north, south, east, west, and northeast, only eastern India and northeastern India are in the surplus situation. Rest all have gone in the stressed condition in one way or the other. Few of the basins, which are now almost closed basins, they have become even more stressed, like Kali. Our Dr. Sharma was talking about the irrigation and the food production. Our food production has already reached a good level. We are increasing as per our requirement. We are not facing any food shortage there. Our irrigated area at present is around, net irrigated area is around 68 million hectares, and out of which about 60% is being irrigated by the groundwater. So groundwater is irrigating 60% of the irrigated area. The domestic water requirement is met mostly about 80-90% from the groundwater alone. Similarly, the situation for the industrial demand. With these two demands, industrial demand and the domestic demands, are going to increase even more sharply in the coming years, and so we are going to face more stress on the groundwater. And when we are going to face more stress on the groundwater, more and more number of the blocks will go in from the white to grey and grey to black category. And we are going to face this issue every time whenever we talk of the water supply to a new metro, a new coming up urban area. And what's happening? Very little concern about the aquifer management. The thing is, we engineers, we scientists, when we talk of the aquifer, we talk in terms of a lot of equations. We learned a lot of equations to deal with the flow through porous media and well hydraulics. However, when we talk on a day like this, where the more people who have got literally concerned with the aquifer equations, I will be talking in a layman language. And I will not be talking about those equations, solving few differential equations, but I will be talking about the language in the total layman's language. Let us define aquifer. What's that? When we talk about the groundwater, normally we define aquifer which contain water. We name them whether unconfined, confined, or a few more word name. But what it means to a layman who is only concerned with the supply, he is least interested from where the water is coming, whether it is a past aquifer or how the aquifer is being managed. So he is concerned with only if he is a domestic user, his concern is only that whether the water is coming to his household or not. If he is a farmer, he is interested in a reliable water supply to his farm when he is needing it. With the groundwater, he is very much sure that whenever he will be needing, if he has got the diesel pump or the electricity supply is there, so he will get the water. And they both of them, whether it is the domestic, even for the industry also, all three are least bothered about the wastage because they have to pay very little. Now, I was just some 10, 15 years back, I was working on one project in Odisha. I calculated that what is the amount of the water a steel plant, somebody came about the water supply to they were establishing a steel plant and they talked to me. And I told how much water you are going to use. See, sir, water quantity के बारे में मत बात करिए, ये बताइए वहाँ से पानी लाएं कैसे हम रिवर से? That was the only concern for them. Least bother how much. Then I checked up how much water they use for making steel. And it came around that Tata is using around Tata Tisco in the Jamshedpur Tata Steel. They are using around 8 to 9 tons of the water to produce 1 ton of the steel. While the old inefficient one are using around 15 tons of the water, almost double. And the Tata reduced because they had their own supply. In Jamshedpur, they have got their own supply system. So they were very much concerned how to increase the efficiency. So, similarly, the farmer is not concerned how it is going to be charged. The urban dweller is least bothered. He is only interested that the water should come. He has got his own bank. He will ask the authorities to bring the water from anywhere. In Delhi now, you are getting the water from Ganga, from the Delhi dam. In the process, nobody is bothering what are the water rights that the person is staying on the river side. We are least bothered. We are bothered, okay, Delhi को पानी देना है, इतना पानी Delhi से ले आओ, इतना पानी गर्म तो उठा लो. So the problem is we are not. So why, when our population is going to increase, what we are going to do with this? How we are going to manage our aquifers so that they don't get dry and we have sufficient water for all? Because the population is going to increase, we can reduce the speed by which it is growing. As the news has just come that except Bihar probably, all other states are going to reduce below 2. Their total fertility rate is going to below 2. So what is going on? But I think that let us treat aquifer like a bank account. It's a bank account where our ancestors have deposited some money and we are also depositing every year and spending some money every year. Now, how it is going to be? Are we going to utilize only that much which we are depositing every year? Or we are going to use the water which our ancestors, the money which our ancestors deposited? Last, I remember a few years back, there was a very good news that we have got fresh water somewhere about 3,000 feet deep near Ghaziabad. I said, okay, you are going to exploit that water was not deposited by us. That water was stored by our ancestors in those aquifers. Why we are going to use it? So let us make it a policy. What I will suggest that nobody will be able to draw from the aquifer more than what he is putting back. Now, that's the limit. You can't draw more than this from your aquifer. How to make it? If you want more, go for the groundwater recharge, reduce your consumption by efficient use, and recycle your wastewater. If you want to use more groundwater from the person from nearby villages, that tanker mafia that is working, You treat your wastewater, supply that wastewater for irrigation to those villages, so that their groundwater is balance again. Is there is some positive balance, and that positive balance you can use. It is just like that. नहीं भैया हम किसी को उधार देकर उससे फिर बाद में पैसा वापस ले लेंगे, उसको बार्टर सिस्टम में हम ले लेंगे. So these are the things which we can do, increase the efficiency for the municipal region. Suppose now we have got around a 100 square meter town with a population of around 5 lakhs. How to do it? It is requiring how much water? That water has to be taken care of. So we calculated that no, it is easily possible if we are able to recharge a good amount of the runoff. And those runoff has to be go by the artificial groundwater recharge. At RPCU, we have developed a system by which we are sending the water to the second aquifer directly, and that is helping in drainage also. So, increase the efficiency. Now, just about 10-15 years back, I was in a seminar of CII. I told every time when you are going for the urination, you first tell it how much water you are using. There are around 2.5 liters. But suppose we have got a double chamber, that technology is available. You push up only that chamber, so half a liter water is sufficient for that. Flushing. Why you are using 2 liters of the water? But that is costing more. Have you given any incentive to the users that no, if you are going to purchase double chamber flush system, it is going to help you. It is going to be profitable for you because we are not costing. And the way you think people will say, just increase the price. But you have got a vote bank. They will arm twist the government. No, you can't increase the price for whether we be the efficient user or an inefficient user. Some parties will come and they will say, we will allow you to use so much water free. That's it. So the things are, we have to take up the policy where the efficiency, using water efficiently is more profitable. Similarly, use all the wastewater. Why we can't recycle it? We have developed few systems at RPCU, at my earlier place, IIWM Bhubaneswar, for treating the wastewater. And simple technology, not using very huge high pipe. And why not? Yeah, I will be talking about that in one of the talks. How to green our wastelands. I found by using our wasteland, we can use the green, we can green our hill. I did it for two, just small cases for Kanpur and Bhagalpur, and found easily that's an economical sense, makes sense economically. So, by this making a water balance, what we are working now, in one of the villages, we are going to work on the water quality. We are going to say that no, this village will be fully irrigated. However, how much was the amount which they are going to be dropped from the groundwater for irrigating, for drinking, that all water will be recharged back. Luckily, we are in a bit higher rainfall zone. We can have more runoffs. We are going to have more water we can, and that's happening in our one of the area where we have installed our first one. That's basically a sports Maidan. And my DSW was very happy. My DSW was very happy कि नहीं sir, ये तो 6 घंटे के अंदर पूरा drain हो गया. Otherwise, before it was raining, and the water will remain, the sports Maidan will become unusable for the 4-5 days continuously. The whole water is drained within no time. So we can utilize it for the drainage as well as for the groundwater recharge. So these for all our aim should be to make our aquifer water positive. Once we are able to do the water positive, whatever is the, at least for the next 40 years, we will be able to manage our water requirement both for the domestic as well as for the farmers in a proper manner without risking our aquifers, which we are seeing in a number of the areas, the regions of the country. The people will get water in the urban areas, people will get water in the rural areas. The wastage has to be decreased, the wastewater has to be recycled, and the aquifers have to be charged back. I'm thankful that I was able to share with you my view. Maybe few of the ideas may look a bit far-fetched, but still I think we can do it. We have been able to, our civilization have been managing these water resources for the 5,000 years. We have got the now proofs that our Indus Valley civilization had a better drainage network and the water harvesting network than what we have today. So we had that caliber and we can again develop it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srivastav. And now he has shared the